Hello everyone, I'm super thrilled today. I've got a friend, Mr. Karan Chugh, who is a very famous singer, an entrepreneur, as well as a podcaster. So it's going to be a very fun chat today because podcasters will be colliding with each other. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. And welcome, Karan, on this episode. I'm truly happy to have you with me. And to begin with, Karan, I want to know a little bit on your entrepreneurial journey first, something about the brand Seventh Heaven and its success story, and what does success mean to you?
Firstly, Siddhant, it's a pleasure to be on your podcast. Thank you so much for having me. And for those who don't know much about Seventh Heaven and its journey, Seventh Heaven is currently one of India's largest cake and dessert shop brands. And we have over 350 outlets across the country. We are also expanding internationally in UK and US. But this journey started many, many years ago, back in 2013. And while we saw initial success, we were only a Mumbai-based brand, and we're still trying to figure out how we can expand on a national level. And we thought to ourselves that there are so many cake and dessert shop brands. How are we actually going to become the best in the industry? And that's when we came up with the idea of the live kitchen concept. Now, the live kitchen concept is essentially, when a customer walks into the Seventh Heaven store, they can get a cake fresh within 7 minutes, made right in front of their eyes. So when we started offering live cakes, fresh cakes in 7 minutes, compared to all other cake shops that are offering cakes that are a day old or 2 days old, we developed a strong differentiation for ourselves. And once we did that, it was much easier to start franchising the brand. And over the years, we've reached this number of 350.
Super, yeah, that is really inspiring. Um, Also, I know that you're an amazing singer. So, in today's generation and especially today's time, how important, according to you, is classical singing?
Right. So, to give you some background, I've been learning Hindustani classical music for around 11 to 12 years now. And initially, I have to admit that even as a singer, I was drawn in by the fame and money that comes with being a popular singer. So that's how my journey started. At the age of 18, I started learning. But, over time, when you learn Hindustani classical, you understand the intricacies of music, you understand the power of music and what it is beyond just popularity and fame and things like that. So, when you have that structured, proper training, it trains you in versatility where you can sing almost any sort of song. So,
Right.
it's your foundation. And if you have that, it makes singing any kind of song very easy. Even when we do playback and things like that, we are given a song, and within half an hour, I'm supposed to like learn the song and record it.
Okay.
So that happens because we put in years and years of training behind it.
Right.
So that way, for any aspiring singer, I'd really suggest that learning Hindustani classical or Carnatic classical will really, really help you.
Hey, you have noticed you've been podcasting for a little while now. What got you into podcasting? What was the main objective for you to start your own podcast show? So would like to know a little bit on that as well.
Yeah, man, I think podcasting, I think as you must be knowing, it's one of the most interesting spaces to be in because as a person, I've always been really curious and I've always felt like I have one life and it would be an incredible life to live if I'd get the opportunity to meet top experts from different fields. So one day I'm sitting with the top nutritionist of the country, one day with the top musician, one day with the top actor, one day with a leading entrepreneur. So the kind of learning that can happen through this process is unparalleled. At the
Right.
same time, I can also enable my audiences to
Right.
grow. But, like right now, people might see that my channel has over 100K subscribers and stuff like that. But the journey wasn't as easy. I remember the first time I started podcasting, I sent out 100 invites to people
Okay.
over an email. I had zero subscribers, obviously, and 99 of them did not even respond.
Okay.
But I had one guest, Mr. Sujay Jairaj, who accepted the invite, and that's how the journey started. And over time, you keep experimenting, you keep meeting different guests, and I think what really worked with podcasting for me was being authentic.
Right.
I don't try and present a personality that I'm not.
Yeah.
So when you're authentic and when you're genuinely trying to listen and learn from your guest, and you're genuinely curious, I think that comes across on camera and the audience can also see it.
Right.
But it's very interesting. And how was podcasting for you? Like, what made you want to become a podcaster?
No, so for me, honestly, it was more for the youth actually, for the new generation. A lot of people are confused, in their early life, in what careers to do. So that's why my whole reason was to, do podcasting from different fields of work, from experts from different
Mhm.
field of work. So, whichever trade any Gen Z want to follow, they can easily pursue that with a little bit of guidance.
Yeah.
I think that was the only reason which I wanted to some way give back to the society in a way to
Mhm.
explore this, with the our younger generation, who's the future of our country. So that was something which,
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
yeah. So that's mainly the main objective why I started this. Um,
Yeah, no, absolutely. I relate to that because my podcast is also called the Level Up Podcast. So in a way, I'm trying to help younger audiences level up in their life, and
yeah.
podcasting is such a beautiful medium to do this.
But you know what? I think there's one thing common between both of us is, we are influencers with a purpose, with a
Right.
substance. We want people to get influenced in a positive way, so
Yeah.
people learn from our journey, and, even if we can help 1% or forget 1%, just a single soul changes their life or some kind of, it helps them to grow,
Yeah.
that is self-satisfying for me. So, that is that is
Absolutely.
that is something I believe in. So yeah,
Yeah,
um,
100%. And even for me, like on my podcast, I'm very particular about the kind of guests that I invite on the
yeah,
show because it's one thing to invite a certain guest that may be really popular and must be
yeah,
viral in the moment. But my criteria is the guest capable of helping my audience level up? And if that's not the case, even if they can get me a million views,
yeah.
they won't feature on my show.
But I
So
think
you have to, yeah,
sorry, I think you'll agree with me. We both had a common guest, Mr. Yash Birla. His journey has been
yes,
phenomenal, in terms of his dedication to fitness over the period of
yeah,
time. People get into fitness, but that consistency lacks, or someone does not have that drive,
absolutely.
but he's followed it as a lifestyle and he's imbibed that lifestyle. And at the same time, he's spiritual as well. So
Yeah,
that just adds to it. So I think we
abs
both had the privilege to do a lovely
yeah.
podcast with him. So yeah,
Yeah, I think what was remarkable was the kind of life that he's had early on. He lost his entire family, his parents, his
yeah, I
sister.
know, I know.
And, we see like a lot of youth when tragedy strikes,
Yeah,
the first thing they do is run towards drugs or things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But to see an example like his, where he put his mind into spirituality, into fitness,
yeah.
stuff like that, and built a business
With the business.
empire,
Yeah,
that's really inspiring.
true. So tell me something, as you said, today everything is about social media. A lot of there are a lot of influencers who want to get into content, who are trying to bring different content to the table. So what according to you is some of the social media growth tips which you can give people?
I think it's a very interesting question, and a lot of people that have a certain talent feel like, oh, I'm singing well or I'm dancing well, and that should be enough for me to go viral. I would like for the audience to understand that going viral or growing on social media is a combination of A, having talent,
Yeah,
but B, having social media skills. It's about learning how to hook the audience in the first 3 seconds. It's about
right,
learning what the algorithm wants out of you. It's learning about what is the trending topic right now in the country and creating content around that topic at the right time.
right.
So there are a lot of factors because I know a lot of terrific singers that might that have learned singing for over 25 years, but they're still sitting at home with no followers, and that is because they don't have the understanding of social media. So even
Right.
if you have the talent, take that time out to learn how social media works and how you need to post content. Even like posting, you can't post it randomly at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
You have to post it, for example, we post it in the evening because we know the audiences
the
are
traffic.
leaving from their office
Yeah,
and they're coming back home, and that's when everyone's again surfing on their phone
right.
or maybe during their lunch break. So once you understand how social media works and you match it with genuine talent,
Yeah.
that's where you'll see growth.
So tell me something, I know you're also a good cook, I've done a little bit research on you, you make the best key lime pies and you have these amazing board game nights. So you want to say something on that? What kind of gaming nights do you normally have?
I'm actually like, people might think that, influencers and, people like these go for a lot of parties and clubbing and that kind of thing. But I'm someone that does not drink alcohol and stuff like that. And my vibe is actually calling my friends home, having a house party, having a board game night. And I recently started baking because
Okay,
obviously Seventh Heaven in the background. So among my friends, yes, the key lime pie is quite famous. And the
okay.
next time you're in Bombay, you should join us for one of these
Sure, for sure.
parties.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna actually count you on that, man. 100%. I've
For
heard a lot
sure.
about your key
Yeah.
lime pie.
For sure.
Okay. But next thing I want to ask you, Karan, is basically in today's time, according to you, especially the generation of today, um, how important is you think the love and relationships which they value, in today's time, where do you see, the future going with love and relationship?
It's a very interesting time where I've seen how love and relationships is really changing, especially with the Gen Z. And I've noticed that whatever's happening in the West slowly seeps into the East, and similar dating patterns have started becoming very common in India, where we all know about concepts like situationships and benching and all these concepts. And what I realize is that it's somewhere the root of all this is us feeling like we have a lot of options.
Right.
Now everyone feels like, oh, I can get onto a dating app or I can just DM somebody, and if something not working with someone, at the smallest of fight they'll be like, let me just switch to another person.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize is that with every relationship that you have, you initially have a honeymoon phase where everything's good. And then, with after say 3 months or something, you start seeing who the real person is. But if you're going to constantly switch from one honeymoon phase to another honeymoon phase, you'll never end up with one person. So if
Right.
you eventually want to be with one person, you have to find someone whose problems you can tolerate in a way.
Right.
But you have to stick through.
How many relations have you
Yeah.
had? Okay.
And my degree is also in psychology. And what we've been taught is that basis our childhood, we all have a certain relationship with our parents, and
Right.
that as a child we don't understand, but as an adult that really shapes how we choose partners in our adult life. And we
Okay.
all have certain attachment styles. So there are attachment styles where either someone can have anxious attachment, someone could be an avoidant attacher, someone could have secure attachment. But when we are associating ourselves with a new partner, we really should identify who that partner is and what is their attachment style, and whether that attachment style aligns with my attachment style. Because if you have that understanding, it makes the relationship a lot easier to work out.
I definitely need some good advice from you in this aspect.
Yeah. No, it's a very tricky
It
thing
would be, it
people
would be,
don't
it would be
realize,
good.
but
Yeah. So, okay, great. Karan, so now I want to ask you, if you want to give a message to the youth of today, a positive message from your side, who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to become talented singers, what are the kind of attributes one must have? And, what is that kind of positive message which you can send to the community?
that's again, I have some advice to give because of all the years of experience that I've had. Wherein the first thing I'd say is, especially if you are on social media, you need to understand that people will praise you a lot and people will also criticize you a lot.
Right,
Now you need to be very level-headed and not take both seriously. You can't say, "Oh, I ignore the trolls and I believe all the compliments that I get." Sometimes, as a singer, someone will say, "You're the best singer I've heard." Now, if I start believing I'm the best singer there is, obviously my growth is hindered, right?
right,
But at the same time, if I start believing some random comment where they say I'm not singing well, again I lose confidence.
right,
So I need to be very level-headed, and the way to do that is to only give proper value to either constructive criticism that you're getting from your audience or from, for example, my guru, my family, my close friends. So you need to be very level-headed. At the same time, I feel like success is something that is very subjective. Now, for someone earning 1,000 crores could be success, for someone earning a crore could be success.
right.
And both are right. But if you don't decide what success is for you, society will decide it for you. So before that happens, make sure that you are defining what you want and then you're pursuing it. At the same time, you need to differentiate, because India is one of the most populous countries there is, possibly the
Yeah.
most populous country, and where there is so much competition. If you're not going to differentiate, even in Seventh Heaven, I mentioned how we differentiated our brand. Even as a singer, I started singing a lot in Tamil. And honestly, I'm a Sindhi, so there's no Tamil background at all.
Okay.
But why I started singing in Tamil was to target a regional audience. Again, differentiating my covers from all the other covers out there. So find a strong differentiation and you should find
You know
success.
what? I've also noticed, like a lot of people, because it's a social media world, and technology is so advanced in today's time. I see a lot of people do a lot of things just for the social media.
Yeah,
They're totally different from reality. So that is something which also, I feel that, you as a person, a person who knows you, they'll know the exact vibe which you send out to the universe,
yeah,
which also will reflect on your social media. It's just
yeah,
so, as I earlier said, like try influencing people for the better, just not thinking monetary. I feel obviously
yeah,
monetary also is a big aspect for a lot of digital creators, but always do or make content which will always help people or give them a positive side that this is also possible. So I always believe in that, and automatically when you do
100%.
that, people see the genuinity from your side, and automatically people start believing in you. In fact, because it's
Yeah,
also a responsibility when you are posting something out there, so it is
yeah,
actually I feel that it's a big responsibility, in fact, because there are a lot of people from every age group who see social media. So I think one needs to be very careful in terms of whatever you put out there. So
100%. It's such a powerful medium. And
yeah.
I'll talk about how initially, when I chose singing as my career, playback singing in Bollywood was the biggest thing in the country. But, a few years into it, I realized that nowadays, even if you sing for Bollywood, it's not really going to make a name for you unless you become like an Arijit Singh who's singing thousands and thousands of songs.
Right.
But even if you sing like songs in Bollywood, you're not going to get noticed. You're not going to get social media numbers. So today the game has changed entirely, and the game is about social media. It's about putting out your original music and being the face. So it's such a powerful medium, and like you said, you need to be very responsible with it because thousands and lakhs of people are consuming what
But
we
and
put
I
out.
think that whatever you do, just do it out of passion. Just not thinking of the future, but do it out of passion, because success will follow if you're passionate about anything in life. You
Yeah,
might fail, but don't get disheartened. Failure also is a part of life. There's so many
yeah,
times,
yeah,
a lot of people tell me that, what if we do not succeed in this? What if we do not do that? But I said, unless you don't try, and unless you don't even if you don't, if you fail, you'll never know. So, you
yeah,
need to really actually be out there to, give it at least 100%. So at least that you have given your 100% to anything that you've put your mind to. So I think that's
yeah,
also
yeah.
very, very important today.
No, I think all the lessons lie with failure because
Yeah.
once you succeeded, because
Yeah.
you succeeded because you did something right. So there's no
Yeah.
lesson to be
Yeah.
learned there, but the lesson
Exactly.
lies where you failed. So what you said is so right.
Okay, so now, Karan, it comes to a very interesting part, and my most fun part is the rapid fire round, which I'm going to ask
Okay.
you some questions to know you more personally.
Yeah.
To begin with, my first question would be, what is your all-time favorite cuisine, and which cuisine do you think that you cook the best, or the worst?
I think when it comes to my favorite cuisine, it's often either Chinese or Italian. But I'd say if you ask me for one, it would be Chinese, my
Okay.
Asian cuisine. But if you ask me what I can cook, I think I can only
Besides the
cook
key lime pie,
pasta.
besides the key lime pie.
Yeah, I can cook pasta. So I was living alone in France, and pasta is the only thing I've survived on because that's the only thing I could cook. But I'm not a great cook otherwise. But the key lime pie is the only thing I'm good at. Yeah.
What is that one embarrassing moment which you've experienced in life?
Oh God. So there's a famous Bombay Times Fresh Face competition that happens in Jai Hind,
Hmm.
and first we had to go up and introduce ourselves, and then we had to go and perform our talent. So I had a 1.5 minute slot. That's it. and I introduced myself for a minute. And by the time the song started, I sang one line and they cut me off. So it was really embarrassing because it was in front of 1,000 people. I didn't perform and I was only talking for a minute. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, According to your personality, and especially in today's celebrity Bollywood generation, who do you think would be your best biopic? Which actor you think would play you best?
Oh, um, I would hope that Ranbir Kapoor agrees to play my biopic because I think he's a terrific actor, and Tamasha is one movie that really impacted me deeply. And I feel like even though he's a nepo kid, he's one of the best actors there is in the country.
Your guilty pleasure.
My guilty pleasure is again, I think I'm obsessed with two things which are not at all good for my health, but one is frozen yogurt
Okay.
and the other is
In fact, I also
boba
love
tea.
frozen yogurt, man. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Even I'm
it's
addicted
terrific.
to it.
So
I can't stop.
I'm addicted. Yeah, I'm like, I just had it 3 days ago and again I want to have it. So boba tea and frozen yogurt. I'm addicted to these two things.
Okay, so if you had to do a podcast with any celebrity or a person, dead or alive, which one would you
Yeah.
do? Your dream guest for your podcast?
My dream guest from the get-go has been Mr. Naval Ravikant. He's an angel investor in the US, and even beyond his advice on entrepreneurship, his advice on life has deeply impacted me. His book, a book of his teachings, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, is one of the best-selling books,
Yeah.
and I'd recommend it to everyone because it's a life-changing book. So I really hope that one day I can have him on my show.
Okay. If you have to rate yourself, okay, between 1 to 10, uh, as Karan as a podcaster, Karan as an entrepreneur, or Karan as a singer, an honest rating, what would you give yourself?
My God, it's a very difficult question, but rather my audience rate me. But as a podcaster, I'd say around 7.5. Again, as an entrepreneur, an 8, because I've been raised in a business family, so business is almost in my blood. I see it day in, day out. So I've a lot of experience in that. And as a singer, again, I'd say 7.5, 8. But because when you understand that once you learn Hindustani classical and the kind of guests that come on my show, like Kaushiki Chakravarti ji, Shubha Mudgal ji, all these classical artists, you understand that there's so much more to grow.
Yeah,
And I feel like even by the end of my life, I'd hope that I never reach a 10 because, once you feel like there's
yeah,
a lot more to grow, it keeps life interesting. If you feel like
yeah.
you've achieved everything, then there's no point to life.
And there's never end to learning, no matter what age
Yeah,
you are. You can just
for sure. Yeah.
it's never ending. So yeah.
Yeah.
And my last rapid fire question would be, what is your favorite genre of music, which when you're stressed out, when you are, having a low day, what is that kind of music which you go to, which actually soothes you down?
I think old Bollywood would be my go-to songs, and also semi-classical and classical music. So from ghazals to thumris to anything that Lataji has sung.
Oh, lovely.
Um, the kind of lyrics, the kind of compositions, the kind of singing that used to happen at that point, even with all the technology today, we aren't being able to match it.
Yeah,
So, because I think at that time there was purity of intent. They were
right.
not trying to make a hit song, they were trying to make a good song, and that is the key difference.
Okay, so that comes to the end of the episode. But before I let you go, Karan, I know you're an amazing singer. I want you to sing one or two lines from any of your favorite tracks you'd like to, whoever's watching us today, all our viewers. So,
Okay.
so let's hear at least one or two lines from you.
Okay, so there's a song called Dil De Diya Hai. I'll try and sing a few lines of that for you guys. आवारगी में बन गया दीवाना मैंने क्यों सादगी को नहीं जाना चाहत यही है कि इस कदर प्यार दूं कदमों में तेरे मैं दो जहां वार दूं। दिल दे दिया है जा तुम्हें देंगे, दगा नहीं करेंगे सनम। दिल दे दिया है जा तुम्हें देंगे, दगा नहीं करेंगे सनम। थैंक
Wow, yeah, you have such an impactful voice. I didn't know your
यू।
scales
थैंक
also, you can go up to that scale. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really,
my
really
voice really
amazing.
opens
Yeah,
that way.
I wish you all the best, and I hope you actually continue this, in a big way, because you've got immense talent, and I'm so happy to see this and connect with you on this, man. It's amazing.
Likewise, man, Siddhant, thank you so much for having me on your show. I wish you great success. You're also a very talented podcaster, and I hope to meet you very soon in person. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I look forward, yeah, and wishing you all the very best. Thanks again for doing this podcast, and see you on the other side very soon.
For sure. Thank you.
All right, cheers, man.